Well, welcome to Brunky Tech, where we're always having audio issues. Now, today we're going to talk about 10 reasons why you want to become an engineer, because we're valuable. All right. Okay, so number 10, you have a wider range of skill set that you learn when you go through college. I mean, you got to understand all of physics, all of calculus. You get through calculus, and at the end there, a teacher will be like, I have nothing else to teach you because I already taught you everything that I know. So you learn a lot. And that skill set is valuable more than outside of engineering. You know, you go to a degree as an engineer, you don't end up liking being an engineer. You have this whole different skill set that is valuable outside of just engineering. And your chances of getting a really good paying job, outside your degree is actually pretty high because you are valuable regardless. And you learn how to flap your wings around like this. So when I was growing up and just doing random jobs or working my 9 to 5, or whatever hours they wanted me to work, you always had drama all around you because of the people that you're around. Well, the thing is about engineers is we're typically mild-mannered and easy to get along with. You go to work and typically there's no drama. I mean, out of all the jobs that I had, there hasn't really been a coworker engineer that I really didn't like or didn't get along with or anything. There might be a boss here or there, but we're not going to talk about that, okay? Most of these guys, they come to work, they get off work, and they're like, let's go get a beer. That's what they want to do. They want to have a good time at work. They want to get off work. They want to go have a beer after work. And there's really no reason why you can't do that. You go to other jobs and, there's drama, there's fighting and everything. I don't think I remember ever having a real big fight with anybody at work when I became an engineer. And so it's low key. So if you like low key, you might like becoming an engineer. I mean, at the time, they like hiding in their basement and doing whatever they want in their basement while they're working. Not literally, but yeah, you get me. All right. Depending on your job, you're continually learning new things about engineering that you never heard of before and be able to research it. So you're always absorbing new kinds of knowledge. It's like you go through school and you don't think much. You're like, okay, I have this wire. And you just receive it. But then you learn all the information about how they actually test this wire to make sure that it can do what it needs to do. And then you have to, depending on your role, you've got to know and understand this information and relay it to other people. You got to explain this to somebody else that doesn't know anything about it. And so in relaying that information, you've got to understand and learn what you're talking about as well. And don't misstep like I do every once in a while. But, you're constantly learning new things. And if you like that, it'll keep your mind busy. Funny thing is when I was sitting there getting my MBA, my business degree, they were sitting there and they were telling us and showing us, it's like, you have all these tool sets at your disposal that you can use in order to solve any problems that you might have. Well, the funny thing is, when I was getting my master's when I was going through and doing my system engineering stuff and coursework, they already taught me that. And so a lot of those skills that you learn how to solve complex problems and identify them, it's used elsewhere and typically in business as they use it. And so these tools in this skill set, it's fun. Number 6, social impact. Can you think of anything more valuable to society than what has been contributed by engineers? So when you look back, there used to be all these plagues that happen all in Europe and everywhere, where it had be mass casualties everywhere that affected a lot of people's lives. You know who solved that problem? Not doctors. It was engineers. So they had civil engineers that invented a thing called plumbing system. And you take the poop out of the city and basically people get less sick. Who would have thought? So, that's one important social impact that they provide. And you think everything that you do nowadays is engineered by a group of engineers, from your phone, from your car, your truck, anything that you interact, like this table, my desk, went through an engineer at some type in order to make it function properly with lower amount of material. So everything you do affects everybody, good or bad. So do a good job. All right, number 5, you can access and use that creative part of you and make new things come anew out of nowhere. So it gives you more methods to create new things when you go through engineering. For instance, I can put together microcontrollers that do fancy things. I got some nice projects coming up the way that you guys are going to enjoy. But it allows you to expand that creativity. When you think of it, outside of business, all the other entrepreneurs in the modern era that are like top funding. Okay, Bill Gates, that's engineering. Twitter, that's engineering. You take a look at Elon Musk. All that is all different types of engineering. Outside of finances, technology ranks up right along with them in the stock market and value of net worth. And it's not going to change. It's going to continue to push forward just like that. And when you think about it, a lot of the most existing parts of our society were brought to you in part by engineers. And so one skill set that you learn how to use completely, probably too much and too well, is the analytical side of things and being able to analyze every single little part of everything. You take a look at these headphones. And so everything that goes in here, there's a lot of analytical skills that have to go inside of here. You got to make a speaker. You need to have a battery that lasts long enough. You got Bluetooth, wireless. And so being able to take that data, extract that out of, when you're testing something like this and looking at those analytics, you could make a determination on if this is a good product or not. Over there at my last job, if we had an analytics from a machine and we brought in those analytics, we could predict future breakdowns of that machine based upon what we were seeing in the current time frame. Who does that help out? You got a customer out there and they got a machine that's about to break, and you're already there with the replacement parts. Just because you drew in all those analytics and were able to make that determination before it happened. That's the kind of analytical skill set you learn when you're an engineer. All right, individual impact. So I know sometimes when you go to the corporate job, it just feels tiresome. You're not doing a whole lot, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. It's like your job sometimes can feel mundane. And this comes like, what can you do as a contributor, as an individual? How can that impact the whole entire organization? So my first engineering job when I got out of college, I went out there and they're like, we have this sensor. It's going obsolete. Can you find a replacement of this? And then test it and make sure that it works within our functional requirements and testing requirements, everything. I'm like, all right. And so they found another sensor that worked just as good, if not better. Cost $100 less per sensor, but then you extrapolate that across, economy of scales, and then you realize that because I made this one change, the company saved like $1 million over a couple years. And you think of that, just within like 3 months when you started working, already paid my salary for the next 10 years. Go figure, And so you can have those big kind of impacts when you're an engineer, because you're working with the actual materials and you're bringing in new materials and you're getting rid of old materials and you're figuring out ways to do things better at a lower cost. So one thing, engineers, they get good pay. Not gonna lie. If you look at the top 10 earners from a bachelor's degree, you have nursing and the rest of them are engineering. Basically, anything that requires calculus will get you up there. And so you do have good pay when you do it because you're valuable to the company. Like my previous example, you can have somebody that makes one good choice and change out, and you're saving the company millions. The same thing is true as you focus on a specific product and you make sure that it works accordingly to the T. You can save $1 million or so because you don't have to recall all these vehicles and so forth. So you're valuable to the companies, and also stability. Like engineering projects never stop because you have upward and downward of the cycle of the economy, but you're still planning on moving forward and, executing new programs and new products, because that continually goes on, never stops. It might get delayed, but it just never stops. So engineers are used everywhere. Last time I checked, like the growth and need of engineers in the United States is 5%. When I checked in 2017, it was 3.5. So it's going up. So yeah, good quality engineers are always needed. All right, number 1. And finally, you're a magician. You can make the magic happen. When you look at electronic devices, you know how these work. When you go down to the individual molecules that these things are made out of, I know how a transistor works. I know how the doping mechanism that makes a semiconductor works, and you understand all that, and then you turn around and make fun stuff happen. This stuff used to be foreign to me. It's like I took a look and it was like, well, I don't know how this stuff works. All I know is I turn on the power button and it works. So you become a magician. You do the impossible and it's fun. All right. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe, follow me on X if you want, share it with the videos, but I appreciate you stopping in. Have a wonderful day.